Hello, welcome to another episode of the Short, Pale, and Handsome podcast. I'm your boy, Loy Lee. Today is April something, Monday, April 8th. How art thou? How's your ma? Tell her I said hi, okay? Okay. I wanted to say hello and see how you guys are doing. Today, I just got back I lied to you straight to your face. Yesterday, I came back from Toronto, right when the Washington, D.C. cherry blossoms were blooming. The most optimal week to go see them. We left. Took the wife out to see Canada, Toronto, and I was hoping, get on some shows, make a little bit of money, do a little dance, get down tonight, but it didn't happen. I lost my ass on this trip. And, sometimes as a business person, you got to just, bet on yourself. As a business person, you got to go, hey, where's the business? What can I do? You book everything and you go there with the hopes that it'll always work out. And sometimes it does. A lot of times you can make a couple $100, do a couple shows, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and it's all worth it. And then some days you just say, well, I guess this is going to be a vacation. I did a couple open mics, but no shows to be booked. Toronto seemed a little bit more of a harder, nut. Toronto seemed like a little bit harder of a nut to crack. And I just basically went up there and took the biggest L I've taken in quite some time. So no money made and did a couple open mics. But for the most part, I enjoyed Toronto. I enjoyed Toronto so much I was upset that nobody really told me about how great Toronto is. I've been there when I was younger. My first strip club I ever got kicked out of. Let me rephrase that. The first strip club I've ever been to was in Toronto, and I got kicked out of it because not only was I drunk, but they only have $1 coins. They don't have $1 bills, $1 coins, right? They call that a loonie because there's a loon on it, a bird, duck thing. And then the $2 bills are toonies because there's $2, right? There's two different colors. It's for $2. Well, guess who was flicking loonies and toonies from the back row as a drunk 19-year-old? Apparently, that's frowned upon at all of the strip club establishments in the greater Toronto and Canada area. As a 19-year-old kid walking in, you've just been like, this guy's going to get fucking thrown out. This kid's trouble. I don't look like trouble. And I don't cause trouble intentionally. I don't go into a place thinking, I'm going to start some shit. No. I just fall into some trouble, right? You go, this kid, he's about 130 pounds soaking wet. He's going to have 3 Long Island iced teas, and he's going to be just a freaking handful. But I'm pretty sure they were really nice to what I remember. I was drunk. I was flicking coins. They told me not to because that's a good way to do things. That is the way to do things, Canada. Be nice about it. Hey, maybe he'll stop being a dick if we just politely ask him to stop doing something. I'm a fucking American. I'm going to go do some shit. I'm drunk. I'm going to do some double shit. Yeah, so I got kicked out. Don't flick coins at strippers, people. Don't do it. I don't care if you're in Canada. So apparently, if you read the signs, I guess you can change your loonies and toonies in for like fake $1, $2 bills. It's got the logo of the thing. And that's what I find out like years later when I go to Montreal. You go... here's whatever. Here's a bunch of coins and here's some fake money. You give it to the strippers cash it in for cash later. I guess that's how that works. But I didn't know that at 19. And I didn't know how to drink. I was drinking Long Island iced teas, I'm sure. I wasn't drinking Hennessy like I drink now. In Canada, they've got this thing that I enjoy. You can kind of get it Some places it's called Molson Triple X Black. It's like 8% alcohol beer, and whenever I see it, I always end up buying it. Not that I look for it, but it's it's whatever. But it'll get you there. It'll definitely get you there. But Toronto was a beautiful beautiful city. I was actually disappointed that I didn't know how much of a great city it was. The only thing I really remember is getting kicked out of a strip club, and just it was kind of a whatever city. I do remember going to the Pacific Mall. It's an Asian Hong Kong style mall. Basically, it's 2 floors and it's just booths of stores, kind of like a swap meet, but more. I guess it's kind of like a swap meet, a Chinese swap meet. And I remember going when I was 19, and it was popping. Like, it was the place to be. It was car shops, like Fast and the Furious parts. It was like DVDs shops. There was the big thing back then was bootlegging your PS2 or PS1, whichever one it was back then, your Dreamcast. Basically bootlegging that, modifying it to where you could play burned games, and then you get the games for like $5, right? I remember I was with my buddy Long. We were there, and we were looking for the prices to mod his PS4 or buy PS4. I'm sorry, to mod his PS1 or PS2. I can't remember. It was such a long time ago. But I remember we were looking for a place to modify it, and there was like a dozen of these places. Right? Whoever was selling video games, they were going to modify your PlayStation. And we go in. He quotes him whatever, $100, and he goes to the next place, quotes him more. We go to like 4 or 5 places to where he goes, okay, $100 is the best price. And then so we go back to the place, and then he's like, yeah, I would like to modify my PlayStation. And the guy's like, okay, $150. He goes, wait. You just said it was $100. I goes, no, I didn't. Yes, I was just here. It was $100. So why are you fucking me here? And then the guy was like, no, I would never say $100. Like, no, I was here 5 minutes ago. You said $100. And the guy was like, are you sure you don't mean the place over there? And he points out the door into another place that looks exactly like his place. And Long goes, fuck. You don't have to be a dick about it. And then he leaves. And that's what I remember at the Asian Pacific Mall. I remember the Pacific Mall just being like full of life, full of joy, and it was exciting. It was like chicks. And we went this time around, and that shit was depressing. It was a holdover from the early 2000s. And as like a small business person, I kind of looked at it like, why would you be here? Like, why would you even... There was like a tattoo shop, and I was like, I hope the rent's cheap, because having a tattoo parlor here, it was empty. It was just a bunch of old Asian people like mall walking, and people were just going to the food court and leaving. It was sad. It was sad just seeing something that I was like so excited to see. I was so impressed to see. And then, 20 years later, of course, I didn't think about it until I just said it. 20 years later, and it's disappointing. You don't say. Why would you have thought 20 years later? It's not Disneyland. It's not Knott's Berry Farm. Shit is the Pacific Mall of Toronto. Why would you not assume it was depressing? There was like a bubble tea shop every block, every corner inside this place. And then there was like snacks. And then there were just like these cell phone stores. There was like 15, 20 cell phone stores, all selling shit you could buy at Amazon for $4, get it shipped to your house tomorrow. Like, as a small business owner, you go, why is this a good idea? But I guess, I don't know. It was sad. It's like going home to your hometown and hanging out in front of the gas station you always used to hang out at in high school, and then realize like, oh, this is a phenomenal waste of time. Shit is disappointing. What else happened? We went to the Fisherman's Clubhouse, right? Fisherman Lobster Clubhouse. I posted a picture on my Instagram. We got 7-pound lobster. 7-pound lobster. I'm from the East Coast. Normally, when you get like a twin dinner, it's like 1.5 pounds. It's like the smallest lobster you can get legally. And I saw a 7.21 pound lobster. Shit was huge. Shit was like as long as my torso, and then the claws were huge. And what was great about it, so on the menu they're like, oh, it's going to be 4 to 5 pounds is $15, $17 a pound, and 7 pounds is $16 a pound, whatever. And I just assumed, like every other Chinese restaurant, that they were just going to throw in that much poundage of lobster meat, lobster in general. And I get it. The shell, the insides, that shit's all weight. That doesn't bother me. But I just assumed it was pieces. So you go, oh, 7 pounds. But no, they brought out one 7-pounder. One 7.25 pound lobster. And they go... They chopped it up. They made lobster, a mound of lobster, Hong Kong style. Shit sat like, it must have been 2 feet tall, 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. And then they took the insides of some of the roe and made it into lobster fried rice. Shit was amazing. Shit was dope. There's pictures of it on my Instagram. But if you are in Toronto and you're willing to spend, I don't know, $150, $150 for basically 3 people. Such a good deal. For lobster, $16 a pound? Get the fuck out of here. So it was dope. I found out that weed is 100% legal in Canada. And what I mean 100% legal is, like, we were smoking it on the street and nobody, maybe it was like the strip club, maybe they're just being nice. Maybe like, oh, maybe we just don't bother him. Maybe he'll stop smoking weed on the street. But no, we were smoking weed on the street. They were the Airbnb place that we stayed at. They were like, oh, there's this new weed spot that opened, and it's government owned. It's supposed to be nice, top of the line. I don't know, top of the line. I was like, sure, top of the line weed? That sounds like a good idea. So we get there, and there's 80 people in line. And, it was kind of cold. So we're standing in line. We wanted to check it out. And this kid comes around he must have been, I don't know, 20. He comes around the corner. He talks to the guy in front of us like, hey, guys, what are you guys in line for? And the guy in front of us was like, oh, the weed shop, it just opened. It's new. And he was like, so you're standing in line for weed, or are you just trying to check it out? And the guy was like, I really wanted to check it out. The kid goes, oh, okay. And he looks at me. He walks over. He's like, hey, are you in line for weed, or are you just trying to check this place out? I was like, we're checking it out, I guess. A legal government-owned weed store? Fuck it. Why not? And he goes, because if you're just trying to get weed, I got you. You ain't going to pay tax. I'll sell you weed right now. I'll sell you a gram for $5 or whatever it was. We bought like 4 grams, which was way too much. Obviously, I don't smoke enough to go, oh, yeah, that seems like a sufficient quantity. Which gave the kid like $25, and he gave us 4 grams. And we just started smoking it on the street. It was kind of crazy. He goes into his bag, and not even his bag. He just goes into his pocket. He's got these baggies of 1 gram each, and we open it up. Smells like weed. So I appreciate his wherewithal, his hustle to just be like, hey, people want weed. I got weed. You want to buy weed? He didn't even go to the guys in the front, the guys that had already been waiting. He goes all the way at the end. He's like, yeah, I guess you could wait. What, 80 people? What are you going to do? You're going to do smoke at midnight? Thanks. Or you could just buy this weed right here. I can go home. You can go home. Shit made sense to me. Weed was fine. Got so fucking high. I got so high, I was sleeping awake. I don't even know what that meant, but it seemed like it made sense at the time. I'm just sitting in the bed, pedaling my feet, my wife says. My wife's like, yeah, your hands folded over your chest like you were like at a funeral, just laying there, and you were just, your feet were petting the bed. I was like, yeah, it must have been really fucking high. So yeah, you had a smile on your face. What's crazy that I realize now that I'm thinking about it, while on vacation, like we ate, we napped, we went out, we ate, we napped, went out, we ate, like for 3 days. And what's crazy that blows my mind is that, we're going to schlep at work for 8 hours, no nap time, working for somebody else's dream, not yours, because I'm sure you don't dream to be working at Best Buy, right? You get an hour break, maybe a half-hour break. You go get food, you eat, you go back. You work for 8 hours, and you come home. But when I'm on vacation, it was like, I guess I don't have the strength to just stay up for 8 hours. I got to go take a nap. You could be out there living your life, the best life possible in a foreign country, talking to foreign people, locals, eating local cuisine, drinking local beers and liquor. But no, you just didn't have the power, didn't have the strength, and you just had to take a nap. Maybe the MSG in the food put me to sleep because that tends to do that for me. But I was kind of disappointed after an afterthought. Just taking a nap. On vacation, taking a nap. Not vacationing, taking a nap. I could have taken a nap at home. I don't have a fucking day job. I could just stay at home and nap, but I don't even do that. I stay up. I could be napping at home doing nothing, but I got to wait till go to a foreign country, spend all this money to take a fucking nap. It was crazy. Disappointing to me. What else is going on? But yeah, Toronto was dope. I definitely want to go back, check it out. The people were cool. The city was so diverse. Like, I didn't know how diverse it was. We went to the Drake Hotel, which unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, it has nothing to do with the rapper Drake. But, it's Toronto. And I didn't realize, people fuck with Drake, hard there. I thought it was just going to be, kind of a novelty. Oh, he's from here. But no, they fucking love Drake there. And we went to the Drake Hotel. And there was a cover, It was a cover. And I'm 38 years old. My wife and her friend were like, are we going to spend money to get into a club? We don't even spend money to go out now. But we're going to go to, okay, I guess we're just going to pay this cover charge. It was $10. That's how crazy Toronto was, where the cover charge was $10. 10 Canadian. What is that, $7? But we went, and it wasn't just a bar. It wasn't just a club. It was a rooftop bar. It was a lounge club. And then there was downstairs, there was music, live music. And it was all $10. I'm this is actually not bad. And everybody was there just to have a good time. I'm sure the winter is so horrific and so long, people just excited to be out. It was 50 degrees out, and people were losing their minds. People were just excited that they survived the winter, they survived the White Walkers, they survived, and they were just out and about. Nobody thought too much of themselves, and if you did, you definitely stuck out. You were a fucking douche. But everybody was happy to see everybody. Everybody was friendly and flirty. Everybody just enjoyed the music. Nobody was stuck up. Nobody wanted to, looking around and not wanting to dance. Everybody danced. Whether you could dance or not, they were I'm putting forth the best effort possible because I survived the winter. And they listened to a lot of diverse shit. They knew old school reggaeton. They knew the new shit, Drake, and it was so refreshing. It was so refreshing. And there weren't cliques of all the Asian people over there and all the fucking white people upstairs and all the black people down. No, everybody was just happy to be there. Yeah, so that was really impressed. We got to stop by the exterior market of Kim's Convenience. Had to take a couple photos there. Say what up to Kim's Convenience, which the 3rd season is now streaming on Netflix. So definitely check that out. But overall, Toronto, man, I almost didn't want to come back. I wanted to think like I could probably live here. And then I remember hearing a interview with Russell Peters, and Russell was saying, I have to live in LA because it's just easier. There's more comedy here. And even though, I'm rich and famous and a Canadian, he couldn't really live in Canada because, there's just there's not enough comedy venues. So, I thought that was interesting. And it made sense, driving through just a lot of country. We drove through all these little towns in Pennsylvania, all these little towns in New York State, and there's just nothing out there. I felt like Belle at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, just driving through these little towns. Little town, full of little people. Little town, like the one before. Little town, full of little people. Which is kind of a dick thing to say, but we could have gone through Pittsburgh, but it was like out of the way. It would have been the same amount of time, but an extra 50 miles or something. So we just went straight through. Drove through like Harrisburg, Williamsport, and these just little towns. And I just could not think of living there. You could buy a house for $45 and fucking roll of quarters or some shit. But it was just so small. And you're like, where do these people, everybody works at the Subway, everybody works at the Ben & Jerry's. Everybody works at fucking Walmart. I don't think I could live there. You could afford to live there. You could live there. But I'm getting older. Like the drive home, even though it was 8 hours, is actually faster than the drive there. And later in the day, it took a lot out of me. I got home and I passed the fuck out. I just getting old. The drive there was fine. We left at like 6 a.m., picked her friend up at the airport, drove to Toronto. We got there at like 1. No, we got to Niagara at like 1, hung out there for an hour or two. Niagara looks exactly the way I remember it. It's just like Vegas on the off season. Niagara was cool. We got to Niagara at like noonish, 1 o'clock. And then we hung out there for a couple hours, and then we drove to Toronto. We got to Toronto like 6:30. And I was fine. Hung out, got some food, got some weed, came home. But the ride home, shit, it was like an hour less driving because of less of traffic. It was like a Sunday, and my body just said, nope, no more. Go to bed. As soon as I got home, I was in bed in like 20 minutes and didn't wake up until this afternoon. But now I know. Now I know about 8 hours. That's about as much I can drive. Got to take a nap. My body's getting old. Yeah, man. But definitely enjoyed it. Now that I'm back home, we're going on to the DC Comedy Festival. I'm going to try to check out some of the cherry blossoms. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. I got a new shirt. It's the old logo, but with cherry blossoms on it. Just for the DC Comedy Festival. I'm going to be running around helping out as much as I possibly can. I'll be doing a couple spots. I'm hosting James Hoban on Friday night, the last night, and then I'll be performing tonight as well at a couple spots. So if you are in town this weekend, there is a bunch of comedy to be had. And then next week, I will be featuring for J.R. DeGuzman when he comes to town at the DC Comedy Loft. You can go to dccomedyloft.com. New logo, same venue. Tickets can be bought there. I will be featuring for him for 4 shows, making that feature money. So that's exciting. And that's what else do I got going on? What time are we at? I don't even know. Hold on. Password. 25 minutes. So yeah, that's what's going on. DC Comedy Festival, Jared DeGuzman, And then I guess July, I'm going to the Philippines and Southeast Asia. So that's what I got going on. And I'm trying to get a couple of things going before I leave. So I'll have something when I get back. I am on this new shit, grind hard. And one thing that I found out that I enjoy is actually typing on a typewriter. I think I told you guys last week I bought a typewriter, and it's difficult. There's a challenge to it, but it makes me appreciate my laptop so much more after I use the typewriter. I enjoy the typewriter based on it's just very analog. Like where you start is where you start, and you got to start at the beginning. There is no backsies. There is no do-overs. Everything is just let's start talking now. And as a comic, I think that's one of my weak points is I have funny things to say. I just don't know how to coherently and cohesively get into it. This is helping me break down my thought process as far as like, well, just start it. Start it and you'll figure it out. It's probably not going to go anywhere as far as, just inside of a folder. Maybe I might get a binder, like a Trapper Keeper, and just put everything in there. But they're just not really, they're not cohesive, they're just ramblings, right? Which I could probably just write in a notebook. I didn't have to go out and spend money on a typewriter. But I do enjoy just the finality of it all, the permanently. I don't even have words for this. Whatever those words are, that's what I enjoy. So, what else? Starting in May next month, I will have I'll probably start doing 2 podcasts a week. This one on Monday, just me talking to you, and then I will have. I'm going to try to get a producer. I'm talking to a producer right now that will basically talk to me about current events and stuff like that. So it'll be more of a conversation. That's what I got going on starting in May until I leave for the Philippines, and then we'll figure it out from there. I got to figure out how to record on the fly. That's going to be interesting. I got challenges, bro, because I'm growing, because you're helping me grow, and that's what's important. My Patreon account will be up at the beginning of May, so you can contribute, and I got some really, really, really cool things going on for you guys. I've been mulling it over. I've been analyzing it word for word, line for line, perk for perk, and if you want to just give me money, if you're afraid you're just giving me money and little to no return, have no fear, because I've got I got a bunch of stuff for you guys. If you can afford $1, $5, $10, whatever you can afford, I literally have something for you. I've got, I don't want to spoil it, but like I said, the Patreon account will be up start of May, as well as a second podcast, as well as a bunch of other things. So if it wasn't for you guys, no bullshit. If it wasn't for you, I couldn't do this. I can't do this alone. I can't do this without you guys. So this was 30 minutes of my day, 30 minutes of my week, and I want to give you guys more, because if you find that this is worth your time, I want to make it worth your time. I want you to feel like you've gotten more out of this investment than what you put in. What you're driving in your car, you're procrastinating at work, whatever it is that you're doing, I want to give you something that is more than what you're investing, because you're important to me. Okay, did I get sappy enough? Are you crying? Huh? Are you crying? Just checking. But yeah, thank you very much. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I got another Instagram handle, because I have a hard enough time handling one. I just say, fuck it, let's just handle 2. Shit. But that's how my brain works. Like, oh, you have trouble doing your workload? Maybe you should do double that. So I have a second Instagram handle directly, specifically for this sole purpose of this podcast. It's called Short, Pale, Handsome. spelt exactly the way English should be spelt. Short, pale, handsome. That's on Instagram. Go ahead and follow that because you get fucking alerts and little bits and pieces of this. So I'm learning video editing because yay. Because I don't have enough on my plate. Hey, let's not be funny. Let's just learn a skill. Learn how to video edit, learn how to audio edit, learn how to make logos. Because that's helping your funny. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So short, pale, handsome. You can email questions or whatever. Tell me how much you love me or don't at shortpalehandsome@gmail.com. Yeah, that's what I got going on. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please rate this wherever you found this. If you are listening to this, there is a YouTube portion of this that goes up the next day. And if you are watching this on YouTube, there is an audio only portion. They're exactly the same. Just one's audio video. Okay. So, that's what I got. Okay, guys. It's been fun. I am back in town, Toronto. I love you. I wanted to be back inside of you always. But DC Comedy Festival is tonight. Starts tonight. Opening night tonight. Tomorrow night. Tuesday night. Sorry, it's late. Tonight. Oh. Okay. That's all I got. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Tell your mom I said hi.